Hello and welcome to the OKPreps Extra Show. I'm Patrick Prince, joined as always by my good friend Barry Lewis. We're going to get into some preps like we always do. But Barry, let's start with the Thunder. You were there for Game 7. What do you think?
What an incredible experience it was. It probably ranks number one of all basketball experiences that I've had in my life. And definitely in my top five sports experiences that I've had. I'm having a hard time where to put that is compared to um, World Series and National League Championship Series and U.S. Opens, but it's definitely a top five and it's a number one basketball experience.
Can you articulate just how loud that building is? I've been to a few Thunder games, not many. I certainly haven't been to a Game 7. So I know how loud it is for a regular season game. How loud does it get? How loud was it for Game 7?
Oh, it was the loudest I've ever heard it. It definitely was Loud City, but then again, I thought Game Five was the loudest I'd ever heard it, and Game Seven definitely topped it. The energy was just so incredible. Bill Haston and I walked around the concourse an hour before the game, and I'd never seen an hour before the game the concourse so filled and so much energy. But of course, it shouldn't be surprising. It was the ultimate basketball game, a game seven in the championship series, a game seven in the finals. That's the ultimate, and the fans brought it, and so did the Thunder.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little high schools. We got a couple of interesting topics to get into. Let's start, though, Barry, with some of our well-known track and field athletes, some of whom were not able to attend our All World Awards because they were competing. Why don't you update us on that?
Yes, several of our all world winners were competing last week at the Nike Outdoor Nationals in Oregon, basically the National High School Championships. And Bella Nelson, who was a two-time all-world winner this year for us, as far as the cross-country athlete of the year and overall female athlete, she finished fifth in both the 800 and the mile. So that's quite an accomplishment. And Kyler Brown, our boys track and field athlete of the year from Booker T. Washington, who is headed to Ohio State. Bella's going to Oklahoma State, but Kyler Brown finished fourth in the 100. So that is quite an achievement. Jarek Wadey from Union, who was our comeback athlete of the year, finished 11th in the 200, and also competing up there was Sanaya Craven from Glenpool, who was our girls track athlete of the year. So congratulations to all of those athletes on outstanding seasons and for competing at the Nike Outdoor Nationals.
Let's talk about Braeden Presley from Bixby. He's going to announce his commitment in a ceremony next Thursday. We're filming this on Thursday. Next Thursday, Barry, right?
Yes, July 3rd, they're having an event from 5 to 7 p.m. on Thursday, July 3rd at Buffalo's Wild Wings in Bixby. And Braden will announce which college he's attending. He's got it narrowed down to four: OU, OSU, Kansas State, and Texas Tech.
Who's he going to pick?
I'm going to go out. I will say he's going to go with OSU. That's just my hunch. Have no inside info on this, but I'm gonna, since both of his brothers went to OSU. Of course, Brennan had a great career, one of the greatest receivers of all time, and Braylon started at OSU before going to TU. I'm going to say maybe the odds favor OSU, but you never know.
Barry, so I got to see Brennan play a number of times. Braylon, I saw him play a number of times. I haven't seen Braden play a ton. Is he like his brothers or is his game a little different?
His game's a little different. I think he's the most physically gifted of the three, but his high school trajectory has been a little bit different because both Brennan and Braylon started out their careers with a bang from the first game of their or the first game that they played in their freshman seasons. Took Braden a little bit longer to get going because of injuries, but last year he really came on. It was a breakout season and showed that he's got the potential to be the best of the three. Um, while the other two were primarily known for what they did on offense, and Braeden certainly showed last year he's got some real offensive talent. Uh, I think he is being projected. The better side of the ball for him is on the defense, being a shutdown corner. Or so his game is a little bit different than his brothers, but they're both are dynamic players. That's one thing. They're both can be electrifying. So that's one thing they've got in common.
Well, you said did you say he's more athletically gifted than his brothers? Did I hear that right? That's
Yes.
saying a lot. That's saying a lot.
Well, that's saying a lot. I think he's got a little bit more athletic talent now. Uh, whether that translates to the success that, and well, it already has translated. Last year, he was on the All Metro team, All World team, should say, for Metro players, and but I think he just touched the surface of what he could do last year because he really came on big time last year, and just looking for a great season from him this year. And who knows, maybe he'll be the third Presley to win State Player of the Year honors. Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Do you ever think Braylon's going to break out at TU?
I think he is. I've got with the new coach, and I think that gives new possibilities for him, and especially with Kirk Francis, who he's got a good relationship with, seems firmly entrenched as the starting quarterback. I think there are some really good possibilities that this could be his breakout year at TU.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I'd love to see it. We all saw how electric he was in high school, and we just kind of keep waiting for some of that to translate. So maybe this is the year. We'll see. So July's kind of a slow time, Barry, but there are some things to note. Why don't you tell us what we need to know?
There are some things to note, but first of all, there's hardly ever a quiet moment in high school sports these days, but we are entering into the dead period. That'll run through July 6th, where athletes aren't allowed to use the facilities at high schools and coaches aren't allowed to be in contact with them. So that's a 9-day period that goes through July 6th. And also, July 15th, that's a date for a couple of reasons that's important on the calendar. Is July 15th is the deadline for those who want to take advantage of the one free move rule. That's when they've got to get their paperwork done for that, uh, as far as getting to transfer one time without having to change residences. So that was a big change in the hardship eligibility process, and they've got till July 15th to get that accomplished for the upcoming school year. And July 15th is also the start, if you can believe it, because we just wrapped up the previous athletic year. July 15th is the first date of practice that is allowed for a few of the fall sports, like fast pitch and cross country. So it's here. It'll be here before the upcoming football season. Well, the upcoming uh, fall sports season will be here before we know it. That's for sure. Fall practice does not, and football does not start until Monday, August 11th.
And then why don't you tell the folks about our all-world voting contest that we'll kick off here in a couple of weeks?
Yes, on Sunday, July 13th, you can start voting on your picks as the top players at each position, at 7 positions in the all world area, which is basically the Tulsa Metro. So, July 13th, we've got 10 candidates at each of 7 positions, and you can start voting for your choices as the outstanding player at each of those positions. We'll have the rankings, our rankings of the all world players at each of those positions. and along with feature stories to go with them. And again, that starts Sunday, July 13th.
Okay, we're going to call that good for this week. Appreciate you watching. I'm Patrick Prince. He's Barry Lewis. We'll see you next time.